Wondering if you've got trust issues in your relationship? Let's shuffle through this delicate conversation and find out if it's a little thing or a big thing.
If you're playing detective in your own relationship, something's off. If you've ever found yourself scrolling through your partner's texts or stalking their social media, it's worth asking, why? Is it because they've given you a reason to doubt them, or is it coming from your own insecurities? Either way, this behavior can spiral fast. It's exhausting for you and can make your partner feel like they're constantly under surveillance. Instead of snooping, try having an honest conversation. Start with something like, "I've been feeling insecure lately, and I want us to work on building more trust." It's not easy to admit these feelings, but being upfront is way healthier than sneaking around. And if they're acting shady, that's a different conversation entirely.
Have you got some better phrases? It can be confrontational. If you've got any other ideas, put them in the comments below to help other people watching this video.
When what they say and what they do don't match, it's hard not to feel suspicious. One of the biggest trust killers is inconsistency. Maybe they promise to call but don't, or they say they're somewhere and later you find out that wasn't true. It's not always about cheating, it could just be flakiness, but over time, it chips away at your confidence in them. Here's the deal. Trust is built on reliability. If this is happening a lot, sit them down and say something like, "I've noticed some things don't line up lately, and it's making me question things." Give them a chance to explain, and if they keep brushing it off or making excuses, that's a red flag you shouldn't ignore. And if they turn it all on you, tread carefully. That could be a sign of gaslighting.
Yes, that could be gaslighting, and we've done a video on that, in fact a few, but I'll put a link in the top right hand corner, which is there, I think. Click on that if you want to have a look at the gaslighting video.
Jealousy can feel like a gut punch, and if it's happening often, there's usually a reason. Maybe you find yourself questioning every new friend they mention or feeling uneasy when they're out without you. Jealousy isn't always about what they're doing. It can come from past experiences or even your own fears of not being enough. But here's the thing, unchecked jealousy can push your partner away and create even bigger problems down the line. The best way to handle this? Be honest with yourself first, what's triggering those feelings. Then talk to your partner about how their actions affect you without blaming them outright. A simple "I feel insecure when XYZ happens" can open the door to reassurance instead of defensiveness.
Yeah, and I think it goes both ways. Are they jealous of you? I agree, let's sit down and talk about this is not a bad option. And although it's awkward, it probably gets to the heart of the problem pretty quickly.
If you're holding back in your relationship, trust might already be on shaky ground. It might seem safer to keep walls up. Maybe you've been burned before or are afraid of being judged, but avoiding vulnerability creates distance between you and your partner. Trust thrives on honesty and openness. Without it, the relationship can start to feel shallow or one-sided. Start small by sharing something personal, nothing too heavy at first, and see how your partner responds. If they listen without judgment and support you, that's a great sign. And if they don't, well, that tells you something too.
Have you had experience on this one? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Dealing with trust and walls can be very hurtful.
A little white lie might seem harmless until it starts unraveling everything else. Whether it's about where they were last night or something as small as what they had for lunch, lying erodes trust fast. It makes you wonder, if they're lying about this, what else are they hiding? And once that doubt sets in, it's hard to shake off. The only way forward is honesty, on both sides. If you've caught them in a lie, calmly let them know how it made you feel and ask for transparency moving forward. And if you've been the one lying, own up to it now before things get worse. You'd be surprised how much honesty can repair when handled maturely.
Yeah, another tricky conversation, but better out than in.
If their phone never leaves their hand or their pocket, you've probably noticed, right? Being overly protective of devices is one of those behaviors that instantly raises eyebrows. Maybe they flip their screen down when you walk by or get defensive if you ask who just texted them. It might not mean anything serious, but let's face it, it doesn't look good either. Instead of demanding access to their phone, which can escalate things, tell them how this behavior makes you feel. When I see XYZ happening, I start wondering if there's something I should worry about. A healthy relationship doesn't need secrecy. Transparency should come naturally if there's nothing to hide.
It's not about hiding, so there should be no problem, right? Defensive? Well, then maybe your suspicions are correct.
When someone prioritizes everything but the relationship, trust takes a hit fast. If your partner is constantly canceling plans or saying, "I'm just too busy," it can make you question where their priorities really lie and whether there's something or someone else taking up their attention instead of you. Feeling neglected often leads to doubts about commitment and trustworthiness over time. The solution? Have an honest talk about how important quality time is for building trust and connection in the relationship. Suggest scheduling regular date nights or even short check-ins each day. It doesn't have to be complicated. Consistency matters more than grand gestures here.
Yeah, and I think if that doesn't work, you really have to consider if it's worth the hurt.
If old wounds keep reopening during fights, trust hasn't fully healed yet, and that needs attention now. Bringing up past mistakes repeatedly shows that forgiveness hasn't happened, or maybe that the issue wasn't fully resolved in the first place. This creates an emotional cycle where neither person feels safe moving forward because old hurts keep resurfacing again and again. To break this cycle, both partners need to commit to resolving those old issues once and for all, whether through honest conversations or even couples therapy if needed. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, but choosing not to let those mistakes define your future together.
Yep, raking up old dirt doesn't set the right tone.
Emotional withdrawal is often a sign of deeper trust issues. They might not even realize it themselves. When someone avoids tough conversations or pulls away when things get serious, it could mean they're scared of being vulnerable, or maybe even afraid of getting hurt themselves because of past experiences. If this sounds familiar, approach them gently with curiosity instead of criticism. I notice sometimes when we talk about serious things, you pull back. Can we talk about why? Creating a safe space for these conversations helps build emotional intimacy over time.
Agree with that. Don't be too quick to blame your partner. Think about whether you're overreacting.
Sometimes the biggest trust issues aren't with them, they're with ourselves. If you've been hurt before or have insecurities bubbling under the surface, it's easy to project those fears onto your partner, even when they've done nothing wrong. This creates unnecessary tension in the relationship. Take time for self-reflection. Are these doubts based on reality or fear? Journaling or therapy can help unpack these feelings so you're not carrying old baggage into your current relationship.
YouTube is going to recommend what they think you'll be most interested in watching next. It's on screen now. So has that helped? Let us know in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you have a relationship issue you'd like us to dig into, or leave a comment. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.